afternoon, the Attorney General is firing back at the powerful politicians making prejudicial comments on sensitive criminal cases, indicating that it is piling unnecessary pressure on the courts. His comment is coming after the likes of President Akufo-Addo, former President John Dramani Mahama, and recently Osajifo Osadeyo Ajimambedu the second, making some comments on the James Gyakye Quayson trial. The Minister of Justice, Godfred Yeboadami, says their speeches exceed the bounds of acceptable speech and belittles the hard work of prosecutors. We'll be getting you. Let's get a sense of what the statement from the Attorney General is indicating. There you have it, portions on your screens, titled "The Unjustified Commentary About Pending Attorneys." You have the Office of the Attorney General indicating that it has observed with serious members of the legal profession of cases which have been subject of unwarranted public commentary include but are not limited to the Republic versus James Gyakye Quayson. We also have the Republic versus Dr. Stephen Opuni, which is also a burning matter, and the minority leader is equally standing trial. That case as well is increasingly becoming of concern to the general public, which the Attorney General believes commentary around it is not helpful. So the explanation is first as follows, that whilst respecting the freedom of all persons in Ghana to comment on any matter, including cases pending before the court, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice takes note that much of the recent commentary on many of the so-called high-profile criminal cases transgresses permissible limits of free speech, unduly interfering with the work of the state prosecutors, performing their constitutional function of prosecuting crime in Ghana, and tends to put unnecessary pressure on the courts. Then the statement goes ahead to indicate that the Attorney General respectfully is reminding Ghanaians of the principle of equality of all persons before the law enshrined in Article 17 of the Constitution, that no person living in Ghana, citizen, non-citizen, is above the laws of the country or immune from any sort of application of same. And the Attorney General goes on and on to express his displeasure about how these conducts are affecting the delivery of justice. Well, the details of the statement and matter for you shortly. But first, the man, Gyakye Quayson, became the first to take the oath of office twice in just one term, when he was sworn into office as Member of Parliament for Asin North for the second time today. Here are excerpts of what transpired.
To administer the oaths, starting with the oath of allegiance. Second time. You've been here before, so you know the drill. So I start. I, James Gyakye Quayson, do in the name of the Almighty God swear that I will bear true faith and allegiance in the name of the Almighty God swear. Do in the name of the Almighty God swear. That I will bear true faith and allegiance. That I will bear true faith and allegiance. To the Republic of Ghana. To the Republic of Ghana. As the law established. As the law established. That I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of Ghana. That I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of Ghana. And that I will preserve. And that I will preserve. Protect. And defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. And defend the Constitution and the Republic of Ghana. So help me God. So help me God. We now take the oath of a member of Parliament. I, James, member of Parliament, having been elected a member of Parliament,
do in the name of the Almighty God swear
do in the name of the Almighty God swear
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Republic of Ghana
to the Republic of Ghana
as by law established,
that I will uphold, preserve, protect,
and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana,
and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana,
and that I will defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana,
and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana,
and that
I will all gone with him. But some of them are still on the floor of Parliament, including the Chief Whip himself, which presupposes that he might not have gone that, but would have to run a few checks to confirm the court appearance. But the warning is clear that any time James Gyakye is expected to be in Parliament, is expected to be in court, all 137 of 136, I should say, will join him to go mental business with Sabala.
I see. Parliamentary correspondent Quayson joining us with the latest there. Let me hear from you, Samuel Bengon. First of all, the decision to swearing James Gyakye, even as his court case is far from over. You feel the Speaker is compelled by the standing orders of the House?
Well, not only the standing orders, blessed, but also the constitution of the land. A new member of Parliament has been elected. There's been communication from the Electoral Commission to the Speaker. The procedure follows, almost automatically that the new member of Parliament will have to be sworn in.
And if that's the case, we're looking at what possibly might be the implication for the House. You have the minority leader indicating now that each time James Gyakye is expected to appear before the courts, all 136, 137 MPs on the NDC side would have to leave the House, join him in court. Is that absurd?
Well, I found that quite unfortunate. I think that it is important that whereas the minority side solidarizes with their colleague in court, it doesn't affect, public and private business on the floor of Parliament. It is important to note that members of Parliament on a daily basis, discharge different duties on the floor of Parliament. There is the bit about members of Parliament who have questions regarding, happening in the members of Parliament having questions regarding happenings in the constituencies that they represent. So issues relating to electricity, water, school infrastructure, and what have you. These questions, a lot of them have been programmed, some of them in the name of minority MPs. There are times where MPs present statements. There are consideration of very important bills in the House. And I think that it would be quite unfortunate if the minority indicates that because of the trial with, ongoing Mr. Quayson, they would, leave all of these very important businesses that they've got to conduct for and on behalf of their people simply to go solidarize with him.
This is indirectly piling pressure on the Attorney General to withdraw the case.
Well, I think that we live in a dispensation of the rule of law. I believe that members of Parliament, are not as stopped as members of the minority from solidarizing with their colleague, from doing what is legally permissible to ensure that they are supporting their colleague. But in the end, I really think that the rules of the law must take its due course in a way that is fair, just, in a way that ensures that the member of Parliament also is not unnecessarily distracted from the work that he has to do in Parliament.
Okay. Well, we also have Nii Arday who's on with us, and the aspects of the law has come up, and the threats we're seeing from the minority side of the House, threatening that, they'll move away from Parliament, join James Gyakye in court. Will it help you say it? Because this case is already being heard. What will it take to perhaps withdraw the case, first of all?
The common law as given to us, and as we have it, emanated from the church. From the church. So, we used to call it the canonical order. And in that stead, we say that the voice of the people is the voice of God. And therefore, if the voice of the people is the voice of God, and all the people are saying from all different facets of life, chiefs, the clergy, the politicians, and everything's continued, why don't we want to see it as the voice of people? But it is not for nothing that we have what we call the nollie prosequi, meaning that the Attorney General decides to continue the case. Mm-hmm. Because if the evidence out there, if the jury out there, it's so loud and clear that, look, what we're pursuing will not inure to the benefit of the growth of our democracy, then it makes common sense to say that let's discontinue. Because I think that Quayson has fulfilled all legal processes. What was brought against him, the reason for which he is being tried, we all can look back and say that, no, probably what you say they erred. That be the case, we've gone into a by-election. He has won again. The people have spoken loud and very clear. It is not wrong at all if the Attorney General decides to discontinue. It is never wrong in law. It is never wrong in law.
But is it as simple as you're saying it?
Oh, it's as simple as it is, that you don't owe any explanation. To say that the Attorney General has filed a nollie prosequi to discontinue the case must not necessarily come with any reason. He decided to discontinue the case. That's all. And because, you see, we have to nurture this democracy to grow. And where we stand now, it's a test for our democracy, okay? And if we don't tread cautiously, we might be forced into taking decisions that would affect the gains that we have had since 1992. In any case, if you want to hold anything wrong against Gyakye Quayson, then the best example is what the president expressed in his prejudicial statement in Asino. Okay? If we accept that the president made a prejudicial statement, which is not what it's supposed to be, in some way we can accept that, yeah, we discontinue. Because we've said wrong in everything. Because if you don't do that, then we're likely to have people thinking, because of the president's statement, have people thinking that this thing is being pursued, Honorable Gyakye Quayson is being pursued to a certain decision, and that is not where we want to get to, because it spoils the beauty of our democracy. Okay. I think if you go out there and you speak to everybody, we can put the legal aside. People will tell you that it's okay. The man has renounced his dual citizenship, is going into a by-election, is won with a wider majority than it used to be before. So it's okay, let him continue. And I don't see anything wrong with it.
Okay, what I want us to do now, gentlemen, before I bring you back into the conversation, is to have a sense of what transpired in court today. Richard Kojunyako, you were there for us today. James Gyakye Quayson, right after being sworn in, appeared in court, correct?
Yes, he appeared in court. He did not come to court, actually, but his lawyers were in court today. And the first to speak was his lawyer, Chachukikata, who said that Mr. James Gyakye Quayson is unavailable because he is on a national assignment. And this was supported by the state prosecutors. And they said that, well, indeed he has a national assignment, and so they cannot begrudge him. And so they wanted to slate the day for the hearing to the next day. But Mr. Chachukikata indicated that they had some processes to file at the Supreme Court. Hence, they cannot do that tomorrow. And the judge came in and said that indeed the court has received some document from the speaker saying that Mr. Quayson will be unavailable for today's trial. And so we have been speaking with Abraham Amaliba.
So we are going to argue the motion out. Don't forget that today would have been the arguments, but this has been adjourned to the SIF. We are not afraid of the trial. What we don't want is for the state to use its might to re-rule the process so that our client will go to jail. We want the processes to be fair. We are not saying that we won't come and stand trial, but for the daily hearings, That is what we are against. And no criminal in this country, an accused person rather, has been brought to court every day. Why should he be Quayson? And so that's what we are against. The Attorney General does not understand his role. His role as an Attorney General is to prosecute on behalf of the Republic. And the people of this country are the custodians of the sovereignty. So if a Ghanaian feels that it's a complete waste of time to continue prosecuting the MP-elects and voices out that the Attorney General should use his power of knowledge, I don't see anything wrong with that. Quayson, we the people, it's not the Attorney General. We gave the Attorney General that power, and we are saying that exercises in this way, the Attorney General cannot be complaining. That power belongs to us. And so the Domahine was right and spot on. He got support from no less a person than a former Attorney General, Ayikwe Otu. And I think that this is how we should all look at it. I disagree with Senior Sam Okujeto, who thinks that his opinion is law. And for that matter, some people should be hauled to the General Legal Council. He himself, as he uses one finger to point at the Domahine, 5 are pointing at him. He has done more harm than good when this matter came to court.
Okay, so what next will happen, knowing that the Speaker has officially written to the court on this matter and there may be further processes?
Well, so we have been speaking with the Deputy Attorney General, and he indicated that, well, no one can fault them for following the law because it is a criminal trial and they need to follow it to the letter no matter the criticisms that people will bring.
Yes, as we indicated in court, truly, Mr. Quayson is today on the national assignment. He's being sworn in. Unlike the other time that he said he was on national assignment, we disputed. We don't dispute it. Being a member of parliament is a national assignment that he's undertaken. I think the judge also made known to us that the Speaker of Parliament had written a letter to the court. We went through the letter and we have the considered view that a request for an adjournment is in the right direction. So that's how come we never opposed the request for an adjournment.
Do you harbor any fears that this may become a norm in this?
We hope it does not become a norm. You may be an MP, that's all right. The two arms, the legislature and then the judiciary. If you have an assignment to perform in Parliament, you do it. If you have an assignment in Parliament all the time, the court should not go on dealing with these matters. That would not be proper.
Your office has reacted to comments that have been made with respect to such of these cases, but directly see a comment to the call for you to enter a nollie process. That to see that they are not the call for you to enter a nollie process. That to see that they are not
no attempt to stampede attorneys from discharging their legitimate duties. As to whether in taking a decision, he need not consider any other input from others.
No definite decision as to whether or not to the nollie process. Why I want to hear from you, Samuel Obeng, the possibility of having the Speaker always writing to the duties for, quote, a very long time. That will be injurious to the Attorney General's attempt to get him behind bars.
Well, we hope that, just as I have said, that it would be problematic to have the Attorney General use the courts to deliberately frustrate the work of Mr. Quayson as a member of Parliament. I really also would not find it proper if, the scenario that you have cited, plays out. It is our hope that you find it proper if, the scenario that you have cited, plays out. It is our hope that you...
Are they supplying? The question you should be asking when you call the CEO,
yes.
Ask him, are they supplying? How are they paying them? They will tell you. He cannot tell you they don't pay. They are paying. They give advance. It is happening.
They give you advance to who exactly?
To whoever is doing the supply as you speak. Now the supply is going on. Yes. The supply currently going on. They are supplying. They are delivering food stuff to the various schools, and they are being paid.
No, as for the payment, yes, I'm challenging you on that.
You are not in the business.
Oh no,
you are a newscaster. You don't wait for a crocodile to come from water to tell you.
But this time around, you're not in the water. This time around, you're not in the water. You're basically maybe on the shores. You're relaxing and having some cool time at the office. The last time. What's the evidence that indeed
the last time you challenged me
have gone
on this issue of evidence?
Yes.
But you see, I have a problem with this kind of question. Because evidence comes in different forms and nature.
Provide the evidence.
Evidence could come in the name of oral evidence. Because as you sit now, how are you able to vet whatever evidence I'll produce to here. How are you able to vet?
But at least I'll subject it to some
I'm saying
tests.
that. How are you able to?
But I will. You've not provided it yet. So
I've given you an oral evidence.
Yes.
Of course, I am into the supply business.
Yes.
And they have not controverted my claims as I speak with you. So whatever I say, I entreat you to take it as a stand. Because I am a supplier. I am a member of the National Food Suppliers Association.
So you mean
and they have admitted having
personal knowledge.
Yes.
Some people have come to you, for instance, your business.
I have personal knowledge of it, and they have not denied the fact that they are still doing supply, they are still being paid, they are still paying people to do the supply.
Yeah, but if you're still doing business, then it's good news.
We are not doing business with Buffer Stock. I'm saying that we have been in supply business. Yes. Some members have been in business 1984. Some have been in it, not supplying to Buffer Stock, but the issue, the food business, food supply business. Our membership have been in it from the 80s.
Yes, so my point is,
I'm saying that
you are still in business.
We are not in business with Buffer Stock. What we are asking Buffer Stock to do for us is to pay us the money they owe in us, because they have taken the job from us. They are not doing their jobs with the people they like.
And the people are coming back to you. So you're still in business.
We are not in business, because they don't come to us they come to us to take at a depreciated cost. Because they are also going to add some profit and give to Buffer Stock.
Okay, so your problem is with the profits?
We need the money. We need our money. The problem is we need our money. If government doesn't want to do business with, that's fair enough. They don't do business with, fine. But we need our money. What is the interest rate as we speak today? What is the rate of inflation as we speak today? What is the cost of doing business as we speak today? What was the price at the time we supplied of these foodstuffs? And what is the price today? Can we be able to supply the same quantity we did in 2001 and 2003? Entire 2003 we supply without taking one cedi. How can a government or a Buffer Stock be this wicked? Then when you have money, you decided to go and do business with somebody who doesn't have.
I'll still take that as your claim.
It is
because you're
our claim, and it is a truism.
Okay,
and they have not denied it.
But I have not seen the evidence.
Have they denied it? All the things I have come to say, have they come out to deny it?
So let's move on then. Let's talk about the fact that you have a contract with the Buffer Stock.
Yes.
Why are you not going to court?
Oh, it's an option. I told you that last time. It's an option. We are exhausting one process. We can't be doing two things at the same time. Currently, we are
but that's the fastest. You go to court.
No, it's not the fastest.
You ask the court to...
The wheel of justice grinds slowly.
Yeah, but this is contract. You have
it is contract. I'm saying that. Currently, we need hard cash.
Yes.
And we need cash to pursue legal agreement or legal challenge.
Yes.
And where do we get the money from? But at least this picketing,
how many of the members are involved now?
We are running into 273.
You've been running businesses for years, as you're telling me.
Yes.
You don't have lawyers?
We have lawyers. We haven't said that.
Yeah, so why not?
We are saying that we are exhausting a particular process. We did a press statement. When we wanted to picket, there was an intervention of a sort.
Okay.
Then we pull off. Then with the promise that we're going to be given the money, in some 30 days, on 13 days. That has never seen the day of light. And that is what we're picketing now. We want to exhaust this process. Yeah. After we have exhausted this process, we would consider another process, be it legal or otherwise. Yeah. We will take advice from our lawyers.
I'm just looking at the opportunity cost.
It all depends on money.
The money you're spending staying here for like a week, that's a lot.
It is comparatively better than going to court.
But you'll get there. You'll go to court.
Hopefully, if we don't get paid, as we desire for, we'll go to court. We can't leave the money with government till infinity.
When you're doing this business, what did you have in mind? Because many have gone through this. And it's very, very common that you find successive governments having delays in payments. And you've dealt with governments in the past. So this is not new to you. You should know that government processes, payment processes would always delay. It will eventually be paid. What's your take on that?
Government process. We are aware that taking money from government coffers takes some procedure. Vouchers have to be raised, instructions have to be given, and all that. But it doesn't take more than 2 years for monies to be paid, especially when the money that is supposed to be paid has been budgeted and disbursed for the state institution to give to us. Okay. Government has disbursed the money according to the Minister of Education, and 90% of that money has been given to Buffer Stock to give to us. That money is not given to us. That's what we're asking government for.
Right, but we need to go. So what's your final message? Probably, as you're indicating, management of buffer stock are monitoring us now. What would you say?
We are not fighting buffer stock. We are not fighting any personality. What we are asking for is we should be paid our dues. We are not there to destroy any property. We are not there to cause any mayhem or to pose any security threat. We are there to collect our money. Until we are given the money, we are not living that promises. We are going to sleep there, we are going to live there, we are going to bath and do everything there until we are given the money. Because in our homes, we don't have homes anymore.
Anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
For spending some time with us. He'll be back because they are still spending the night at the buffer stock as you're meeting.
Exactly.
Okay. I'll join you probably for dinner.
Thank you. But I'll expect you this evening. Come, let me do you some. We have cappuccino.
Anyway, that's just by the way. Just kidding, by the way, because we need to laugh it off anyway. Let's see what government will do about this. We also have to talk about this matter because it's a 76 kilometers of road that for a number of years now, it's been promised that they will fix the roads and every government has made that promise over the past 30 years, and nothing has been done to fix it. It is in a deplorable condition and replete with some gaping manholes and gullies. In today's episode of Ghana's Pothole Exhibition, Joy News' Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam visited the potholes-riddled Hantumu Road and has come through with this report.
The Hantumu Road project for over 30 years has been on the budget of every government that has ruled this country. All governments in the Fourth Republic have cut sword for at least a portion of the road to be constructed. The irony, however, is that none has been able to complete the 142 kilometers road. Joseph Quayson started using the road at a tender age some 70 years ago, attended Laura Middle Boarding.
I attended Laura Middle Boarding. That was from 1961 to 65, and I used the road a lot. If anybody told me that as of today, this road is going to be in this deplorable state, I will say it's a mirage. Because Kasajan was one of the best persons, one of the first contractors who worked on this road. And what happened? Since then, they have been scrapping the road. And I think that thing even contributed to the nature, the way this road is now. This was the very road that my father used some 60 years ago to go and dowry my mother at Wallambele. 60 years old, the road is even in a much deplorable state. The question that the people are asking, when will this road project be completed?
Construction of the road project began over 3 decades ago at the one end of the road by Usua Ghana Limited and later awarded on piecemeal to Lebanese-based Ghanaian contractor P&W Ghana Limited. At least the latter has graded, re-gravelled, fixed broken culverts and tarred over 50 kilometers of the road with bitumen. 76 kilometers of the road project is now left to be fixed and is now an albatross hanging on the neck of the government. It is bumpy, deplorable, and replete with corrugation. The west part of the road is located between Hen and Ndowala and is filled with numerous manholes and gullies.
You can see that the videos are shaky. That clearly means that the road is just not good. We are moving from one pothole to the other, mending through some of them, the ones that we could dodge. And that's exactly what is happening. And that's why the videos are really shaking. We're uncomfortable, even sitting at the back of the pickup. You can see that the vehicles are coming and they are now avoiding the road and they are now using the shoulders of the road to come into the main road because the road is such in a deplorable state. And so even vehicles as Land Cruisers, Prados and whatever cannot even ply that route. How much do you talk about rickety vehicles? I can count as many as 13 gullies right here on this road. So let's start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 on this stretch of the road, which is about 20 meters right here on this road. Passengers and also drivers are not having it easy to ply the route, and they are appealing to the government to come to the aid of the people. Myself, we will have to go and change our absorber very often because the road, the nature of the road is very difficult. Well, I'm using a pickup, but it is still very tough on the car. So we are appealing to the government that whatsoever they have to do to make sure that these roads are done, because this area, Sisala East and West, is a good hub for cereals, soya, maize, and millet. And we have to transport the item to the city centers to help cushion prices. And because of that, prices are escalating.
And now the World Bank says it has committed some $14 million to the redevelopment of major tourist sites across the country. The amount is part of a $20 million World Bank tourism development project aimed at giving facelifts to tourist attractions across the country. Country Director of the World Bank, Pierre Laporte, noted this at the commissioning of the redeveloped Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park and Mausoleum here in Accra.
Let me say a few words about select aspects of the tourism development project. This $40 million 5-year project has positioned the tourism and hospitality sectors as key drivers of social and economic development in Ghana. The project supports improved tourism products and services provision and upgrading skills in the labor force in the tourism, arts, and culture sector. The project has now disbursed $20 million in grants, and procurement is underway for disbursement of the additional $20 million over the next 12 months. This includes 1,250 grants under several windows, such as the COVID-19 recovery grants, small and medium enterprises grants, and the tourism site grants. Several tourist sites and destinations have received infrastructure support and upgrades and developments under the project. This includes the Kintambo Waterfalls, Bonwa Craft Village, Bogwaye Palace Museum, Ankasa Forest Reserve Receptive Facility, Nzulezu Receptive Facility, and Goshe Gusmok Village, to name just a few.
Well, that's all we have for you in this package of reports. I'm Blessed, so log on to myjoyonline.com. Lots of stories there for you to catch up on. Until then, we'll see you again. Bye-bye for now. Next is Let's Talk Showbiz. Thanks for watching.
That we've had news file over the weekend, and an interesting part of the conversation focused.
Oh no, we are out of range.
Oh, don't worry, Daddy. I have Alexa in my bag.
Alex, what?
Alexa, open Multimedia Ghana and play Joy FM.
Super Hits Radio, Joy 99.7.
Listen to Joy FM, Hits FM, Love FM, live on your Amazon Echo. Listen to your favorite multimedia radio stations live on your Amazon Echo device by saying, Alexa, open Multimedia Ghana, play Joy FM or Hits FM or Love FM. Or catch up on your favorite podcast by saying, Alexa, play, and then the name of your favorite podcast from Multimedia Ghana. For a list of all podcasts available, say Alexa. Ask Multimedia Ghana to browse programs.
On air. And we are back like we never lost signal.
Alexa, welcome to Multimedia.
Even the builders of his house and sellers of his cars give him a percentage for every contract he brings. My opponent sits here and turns against the motion for once having it for making money legally. Wrong! Hey.
The biggest debate competition in Ghana is back. Which side do you represent? For or against the motion? Stay glued to your superstation Love 99.5 FM, Joy Learning and Joy Prime as we bring to you the biggest stage where schools in Ashanti show their prowess through debate. Rally behind your alma mater to glory as gallant young men and women from the various senior high schools in Ashanti elucidate their stance on matters of national interest.
Venue is the Christian Service University College.
Catch us live on Love 99.5 FM, on Facebook at Love 99.5 FM, Joy Learning and Joy Prime, 2 p.m. each day. The Love FM High Schools debate, trumpeting the voice of young ones on issues of national interest. This event is brought to you by your superstation Love 99.5 FM, the Ashanti Regional SRC, and the Regional Directorate of Ghana Education Service Ashanti and CHAS.
This program is in partnership with Pepsodent, Rasta Chocomold from Twillium Industries, Christian Service University College, Jackson Educational Complex, Cowbell, Madam Catherine, Frital and Fortune Rice from Wilma, and sponsored by Zest Consult, Pidato Company Limited, CBS Industries, Top Choco, Ultimate Fashions, Flora Tissues. Supported by
It's the Premier League, all on DSTV. All the goals, clashes, and moments. All of Rashford, Salah, and Saka.
Their start is getting better and better.
All in the language of your choice. All in HD. Available on all these bouquets to choose from. To watch on all these devices. Get DSTV with an HD decoder plus 1 month compact for 299 CDs. It's the Premier League, all on DSTV.
Hi, now let me share my wildlife experience with you at Safari Valley Eco Park. Welcome to Safari Valley Eco Park. Our electric shuttle pulled up and in no time our tour began. We were surrounded by wildlife from the moment we entered the Eco Park. We were greeted by experienced tour guides who took us through orientation and how to better enjoy the experience. Watch these animals roam freely in their natural habitat undisturbed by our presence. We saw zebras, sable antelope, brown crane, mara, silky chicken, llamas, Shetland ponies, and so many animals are just getting people. Our tour guides taught us so much about the wildlife, their behavior, and how to interact with them. I even fed them. We also went fishing on a man-made canal. Then we took a break to have lunch in this serene environment. All this amazing experience for this price for adults? This price for teenagers. It's a bargain. As the sun began to set, it was time to go back home, but not before dinner by the campfire. It's been a thrill of a lifetime, and I can't wait till my next visit.
Safari Valley Eco Park, bringing you closer to nature.
It's another beautiful day, and it's always a pleasure to bring you everything in your world of showbiz. Today, I actually have some good news. You know, when good news comes, we definitely want to share with you, and definitely I'll bring you some update from the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park. There's some new renovations, some beautiful stuff there. My colleague Ivy was there. I'll bring you an update on that. Now, a Hollywood filmmaker is also not happy with Ghana government. I'll give you details on that as well. And if you're a big fan of Tom Cruise, get ready because Mission Impossible is cooking, if not even done cooking. I'll bring you some updates on that as well. My name is Doreen Avio, and the show is Let's Talk Showbiz. Now, if you're just joining me, this is Let's Talk Showbiz, and we're starting with something beautiful that obviously a lot of people, I believe, have been looking forward to when it is finally here. Well, the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park has been renovated. It went off, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere last year, and it's literally done. Everything is set. Oh, my goodness. The place is beautiful. From pictures to videos to people who were there to actually have a view of it. The reportage is simply amazing. So you can tell your friends, you can tell students, schools, and everybody that it is open now, so they can actually go and learn some history at the Memorial Park. As usual, my colleague IB was there, and he had the opportunity to speak to some amazing people who, some way, somehow, were happy about the project.
Some park, they are just one in free talk. Abo, Fiha. It was such a form of the DNA. And then if you are to home, on this one, but that's one, and it was. And as I say, Mama going to do fancy, which they say, now, everybody who enters this space realize that though that sword might have been cut short, the warrior himself points the way forward. And so, forward we shall go, and we shall not relent. A good matter is short. I simply am a forebear of one who was and called for cultural diversity. And so on that night, he wore these smocks smithed with fire but with very simple words, and declared that we are free. It simply meant you're Sajifo, called from the north. And so today, one who holds the gate is another one from the place where Sajifo found the confidence to say, at long last, you know the rest, it is history.
We have choices and options, and we must do whatever we can to give them the best possible experience while they are in Ghana. It's equally important to spread the December NGH activities across the country so that all regions and communities benefit from the tourism dividends.
Congratulations on this redevelopment of the park.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. But I believe the bigger congratulations would go to His Excellency President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo and the dynamic Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture, Honorable Dr. Mohamed Awal.
Well, a lot of money has been sunk into this. Now, after this, it will have to do with the maintenance, because I know that it is going to be a tourist attraction. What agency is going to be handling this, and what measures have been put in place for the maintenance? Because our maintenance culture in this country is not so good one.
Thank you, my brother. As you have said, a lot of money has gone into the redevelopment of this park. If you look at the infrastructure that existed, which had run down 30 years, no maintenance, nothing had been done, and it ran down completely. We have added today the new museum, as we have seen. We have added the new receptive facility. We have added the water fountain that was dead with colors at night. That will make it very beautiful for people to come in. We have added indeed the presidential library, the restaurant, the art shops, and everything else. It cannot be left to rot. So as part of the process of design, we developed a project management manual as part of the project design, so that becomes the Bible, as it were, for the management of the facility, which includes the commercial management and financial management or financial success or health of the